The girl saw the man she had loved for many years once again. But this time, she didn't run toward him like before. Instead, she simply passed by with a cold glance. Because once she had loved him to the point of madness. In her past life, she used underhanded methods to force him to marry her. Pressed by rumors and public pressure, he had no choice but to take her as his wife. But in his heart, he harbored deep resentment toward her. Less than a year into their marriage, he used her illness as an excuse and kept her under house arrest in Tianyu Pavilion. She suffered there for 2 long years before eventually dying from her illness. My lord, the woman in Tianyu Pavilion, dead? Yes. Then bury her somewhere suitable. This time, reborn into a new life, she made a decision to stay far away from him and avoid repeating her tragic fate. She first visited her aunt. Knowing her long-standing feelings for the prince, her aunt wanted to help bring them together. But to her surprise, the girl refused immediately. "We're not suitable for each other," she said calmly. "Please help me find another good match instead." At that moment, the prince walked in. Her aunt offered him a piece of pastry the girl had made. He didn't refuse it in front of her, but after leaving, he threw it away without hesitation. Only then did the girl realize, even before everything that happened in her past life, he had already disliked her. The next day, at her aunt's birthday banquet, she was asked to call her uncle from the backyard. But on her way there, she noticed a servant acting suspiciously, secretly poisoning a cup of wine. Fearing for her uncle's safety, she rushed forward. Just as the poisoned cup reached the prince's hand, she knocked it over without hesitation. The servant immediately drew a dagger and lunged at her. At the critical moment, the prince reacted swiftly, kicking the attacker to the ground. But before they could question him, the servant bit his tongue and committed suicide. To repay her for saving his life, the prince offered her 3,000 taels of silver. "To me, this isn't much," he said. "Take it and we'll be even." But the girl returned the money without hesitation. "I only acted out of concern for my uncle," she replied. The prince paused, then said calmly, "Good. That makes things simple." And just like that, he took the money back and left, leaving her completely stunned. She had thought he was just being polite. The very next moment, assassins stormed the residence. As she tried to cry for help, the prince covered her mouth and pulled her away. An assassin charged at them. But the prince struck first, killing him instantly, then grabbed her hand and ran. The assassins chased them relentlessly. Out of instinct, she stepped forward to shield him. But this time, he moved in front of her instead. "There are too many," she said urgently. "You go. I'll hold them off." They barely escaped into the wilderness, where the prince finally collapsed from his injuries. Seeing him bleeding heavily, she ignored all restraint and searched him for medicine. She couldn't understand if he truly hated her. Why would he risk his life to save her? As his fever worsened, she went alone to gather herbs. By the time she returned, he had already lost consciousness. Desperate, she tried to feed him the medicine, but he wouldn't open his mouth. Left with no other choice, remembering that he had saved her life, she steeled herself and fed him the medicine mouth to mouth. The next morning, the prince slowly opened his eyes, only to find her resting quietly in his arms. For the first time, he saw a different side of her, brave, decisive, and real. Not the pretentious, power-hungry woman he once believed her to be. When she stirred awake, he quickly closed his eyes again. "Good, your fever's gone," she murmured softly. "This time, you owe your savior." He spoke without opening his eyes. "Is 3,000 taels not enough?" She paused. "Then what do you want?" A faint smile appeared on his lips. "Then give yourself to me."